90% of influencers never make more than 10K per month online. And honestly, the majority are making a few $1,000s. And I'm not talking about influencers who have like 10K followers. No, these are influencers who have 100K, 300K, even 500,000 plus followers that they've built up over many years. They have essentially been posting consistently and yet they're scraping by. So this is super crazy because it surprised me when I first heard this, but it's honestly the reality. So you have millions of influencers out there, and the crazy part is the people who are making real money, I'm talking 10K, 20K, 50K per month plus, are people who you've never heard of. In fact, they operate behind the scenes and they operate in the shadows. And so this is the one person shadow operating business model that you can start and launch within 30 days. And I'm going to be telling you about this business and breaking down step by step how you can get started. So let's start here. First, what is shadow operating? So if you're new to the channel or you've been watching my videos, a shadow operating business is essentially where you go out, you find an influencer, you partner with them, you build a digital product. Now this could be anything from a course, community, or a coaching program, and then you launch and split the revenue. That's essentially what it is. And the reason why I believe it's superior to others is because firstly, it's just you go out and you find influencers, right? So you get to do all the behind the scenes work. You get to be left alone, and you could have 1 to 3 influencers that you're working with, and you could literally travel the world. This is exactly what I did. I've been working with influencers for 8 years now. My very first business that I launched with an influencer actually was my own white label dropshipping brand. And so it was like a fitness product, a fitness band, and I shipped them out to many influencers and grew that business completely through organic influencer marketing and sold thousands of those products. And then I transitioned to working for an influencer in a marketing role 9 to 5 for a couple years, and then partnered with that same influencer who I worked for and launched a business coaching program with him. So yeah, I've been working with influencers for 8 years, generated over 7 figures with this. And so yeah, I like to think I know a thing or two about it. And so yeah, as a shadow operator, you get to have that freedom and travel the world. And so you can go to any country you want, you can work whenever you want, because the business is not dependent on your face, it's not dependent on your brand, it's dependent on the influencer's brand and their audience, which they've built up, right? And so you essentially get to remove yourself from that side of things. So if you don't want to be on camera, if you don't want to build a brand, then this would be perfect for you. And so your whole role in this business is setting up the back end, right? The offer, the things that the influencer actually doesn't know how to do. And that goes back to what I said at the beginning of the video, is that 90% of influencers never make more than 10K per month. Why? And it's because they don't know how, or they don't have the time, or they don't have the skill set. And any of those reasons, we can come in, we can help them, we can launch a business and essentially monetize it properly so that they can make more than 10K per month, and you can too, right? So it's a win-win situation. You get to, be behind the scenes, have the freedom to do what you want, time, location, financial independence, and the influencer gets to keep doing what they want, which is just creating content, building the audience, and just promoting the digital product that you build, right? So that's what a one-person shadow operating business looks like. And just before I go deep into the video, I'm going to open up a Ghost energy drink. And I thought it was appropriate for this video because we're talking about shadow operating and being essentially ghosts behind the scenes, right? Guys, if you haven't tried this, honestly, get the lemon lime. It's so good. And no, I'm not affiliated by them in any way. I just enjoy the drink. And so yeah, we are ghosts behind the scenes. We are operating for influencers. So now you're probably wondering okay, I understand the business model. We go out, we find influencers, we build them a digital product and we launch, right? But you might be thinking like, well, I'm sure like some influencers must know how to do this, do like building the products themselves, right? And the answer is no. Like you'll be so surprised as you go out, as you look for influencers and message them, you will realize how many people, like honestly, the majority, 9 out of 10, don't have anything monetized or set up properly, right? So it's so crazy. And this is like honestly a blue ocean opportunity right now. And especially with the rise of AI, like the types of products that I teach to build are AI proof essentially. So they're communities, they're like coaching where, it's actually with the influencer. So these are things that AI will never be able to replace. Real human connection and real human experience that will help with implementation. So I think if anything, sure, like let AI do its thing, let it grow, which it will, and the offers that we build will only become more valuable. And so yeah, I hope that makes it clear that there's millions of influencers that don't know how or don't have the time to do something like this, and that's where you can step in, you can provide value as a partner and then launch something, right? So the first thing you want to do is actually find out like what niche of influencers you want to target, because we don't want to be messaging everybody. We want to be pretty specific on who we want to target, right? So we want to be finding influencers who are solving a pain point for their audience. Now, I've talked about this in my other videos, but honestly, the main categories you could say are health, wealth, and happiness. So what would these influencers look like? Well, honestly, for health, it might be fitness. So for example, helping people get into the best shape of their life, whether that be building muscle, losing weight, it could even be more specific, like how to eat like a carnivore. All these types of things are in the health and fitness niche, right? Also, another niche might be like mindset. So how to actually be happier, how to have more confidence, how to overcome anxiety. These are like real pain points that people are dealing with every day, and that if you were to launch an offer with an influencer, this would actually help people's lives and people would actually want to pay for something like this, right? And so another big niche that I would suggest getting into would be the relationships and dating niche, right? And so why this one? Well, I like to say people will pay anything for love. And so if you can find an influencer who's, coaching men, coaching women on how to find their dream partner and create some sort of offer around that, then, especially if you go and find an influencer who is like a woman helping guys find their dream partner and they launch an offer, this is super attractive to the guys because they're going to want to know how this is done and they're going to want to like learn from them, right? And so this is like really valuable to them. And so I hope that makes you understand a bit better why I'm talking about niches and why this is like the very first step to starting this business and, getting your first client, generating revenue in 30 days. Pick your niche, find an influencer who is solving a specific pain point that you can actually reach out to and partner with, all right? And so the next thing you want to do is you want to build your offer and you want to get so good at creating offers. So when I'm talking about the skill of offer creation, I'm not just talking about the offer that you make to the audience of the influencer. I'm talking about the offer that you make to the influencer themselves, right? Because they get a ton of messages from fans, from maybe brand deals, from agencies. And so why do you stand out? What are you offering that's different to others? And why will they want to reply or even want to work with you? So it actually starts with the offer that you make to the influencer and how good that you can make that so that they want to work with you. So if you do this right, then you should be able to get clients effortlessly. And so a couple things here is like, firstly, like, why should they partner with you? So what are you bringing to the table that they don't have? So you want to make it clear, okay, you've got your audience, you've built a successful personal brand. However, I noticed there is a gap in your monetization and I can basically build something a lot better and I can build an offer that would help you make more than 10K per month online. And if you do that, like I said, at the beginning, 90% of influencers are not making more than 10K per month online. So when you start to say numbers like this, and this is very, very possible, by the way, then they're gonna, have piqued their interest and essentially want to hear more, because most likely they're making a couple thousand And so if you can point out the fact that, I know that you've got your audience and I know there's a monetization gap, they're going to want to hear you because not many people are doing that, right? So that's the first thing. And then essentially what you want to do is tell them, look, all you need to do is promote this thing. I'm not asking you to do the technical back-end stuff. Leave that to me, right? I'll be, setting up everything, like doing all the tech stuff, and all you need to do is just promote it, okay? And so that's the second thing that you want to get across, is the fact that it's very low effort, you could say, on their end, very minimal time investment. Of course you have the actual offer itself that sometimes maybe it's group coaching calls, but that's like 45 minutes to an hour a week of their time. Or it could be like a course, so they might just need to film videos once, and that could just be like, they could do it 1 or 2 hours per week. So it's very minimal effort on their end and maximum reward, right? So if you go to influencers, you say, look, you got the gap of monetization, I can help you build it, very minimal time on your ends. Okay, those are like the first 2 points of creating a great offer to an influencer. And the third one is eliminating risk. So how do you do this? So unlike other companies, agencies who always charge a retainer, we're not going to do that. We're going to work purely on performance. And this is how, even as a beginner, which you're probably wondering, like, I'm just getting started, why will they say yes to me? Well, because you're not asking them for money up front. In fact, you're reducing the risk to zero. So now you can see, like, okay, we're only asking for a percentage of the revenue. This could be 30% to you, 70% to them if you're just getting started. And then as you're more experienced and you got more like case studies or testimonials that you can leverage, then you can maybe go like 40% to you, 60% to them. And depending on the work that you're doing, and if it's like way outweighing what they're going to be doing, in some cases, in fact, my own was 50-50 partnership. And that is the ultimate. That is like the highest you could probably go, as a partner, right? 50-50. And so, like that is kind of like the model, and that's kind of like how you want to present it to them. So just to recap, you're stating the fact that, their monetization, there's a gap and that you can help them make more. Secondly, you're saying there's very minimal work on their end and you will be basically taking on all the tech stuff, all the back-end products and all that stuff. And then thirdly, you're saying there's no risk. So because I'm getting started, because I'm like, you're going to be my only client, I'm going to eliminate the risk completely. Worst case, you promote it once, nothing happens. Best case, you get to make an extra 10, 20K per month, right? And so that's how you want to present it to the influencer. And obviously I have a lot more in-depth training and guides that I share with my one-on-one clients, but this is kind of like the overview, you could say, of how you want to present the offer. And so once you've got a partnership and once you've got an influencer to say yes to you, the next step is actually the offer that you make to the audience. So you want to make something so good that they can't say no, right? And so you want to solve a specific pain point. This comes back to the niche, picking the right niche, and then making the money that they pay you worth not as much as the outcome that you'll give them. So if you, for example, in the fitness niche, right? Let's say you're working with guys, right? And you find this guy influencer, and then we want to target like men, maybe 30 to 40, who have gained some weight and they've lost some confidence. Maybe they're like struggling a bit. So what you can do is say, hey, look, if you're a guy who's between in your 30s to 40s, I'm going to help you get into the best shape of your life, looking like you're in your 20s again. You're going to have a six-pack. You're going to have more confidence. You're going to make more money. You're going to find your dream partner and woman, right? That you can tie in multiple aspects into the offer. That outcome is probably worth more to them than, whatever money that you're charging for the offer, right? And so that's kind of like the strategy and kind of how you want to make the offer, right? You want to make sure there's a bunch of stuff in there that will make them want to buy. So maybe one thing could be having a course. So they get a curriculum, a step-by-step program that they can follow on their own. And basically, once they've gone through the whole thing, they're going to be able to know how to get in shape, and all is up to them is to actually do it, right? So the second thing might be a community. And this is where you provide other members who are on the same journey as them that they can network with, In some cases, if they're in the same city, they could meet up. But basically having a support network and accountability that will allow them to achieve their goals and make it a lot easier. And maybe the third thing is having proximity to the influencer. So like group coaching calls where they can actually ask questions and be closer. Because a lot of the times people just want real guidance from a real person. Yeah, okay, you know, there's ChatGPT, there's AI everywhere. If you want answers, just ask it, right? But it's not the same as listening and asking from a real person that you follow, that you look up to, that you respect, and that has knowledge in their brain that they can communicate to you, right? And so the implementation, the accountability, and the guidance is what people want. So that's what you can sell, right? So we've covered the niche, we've covered the offer. Let's get on to the next step. Okay, here's the next step. You want to build your skill set, okay? So you need to get good at a few skills in this business. Now, the first one is what we kind of covered, offer creation, but copywriting. So like now you can actually leverage AI. Actually, you can leverage AI to do copywriting more and make it easier. But copywriting is an amazing skill to have. It's something that will be used throughout the entire business model, all the way from the message you send the influencer to the text on the sales page to promoting it. Like copywriting is number one. Building funnels is another skill. So like how to actually set up a digital product, how to set up a sales page, website, email, like all the tech stuff you could say, learning that and how to actually operate in the back end, right? And the next is definitely communication. So how you communicate to the influencer, keeping that regular cadence. Another one's bit like being professional, making sure there's no typos in your emails and your messages, random spaces, dots, or, you know, all that type of, it's so basic, guys, but most people overlook this stuff. Like they can't even send a structured, nice email, you know? So yeah, it's just like the basics, honestly. And then now if we're talking about, the ability to grow the business. So identifying the things that are stopping the business from making more money and then coming in, fixing it and scaling from there. So those are kind of like the main skill sets. But yeah, after you've done that, the next thing would be to build your one-person tech stack. Okay, so you want to identify your core softwares that you'll be using to operate this business. And, you know, I'd recommend to find ones that you like and that work for you. I have my own. In fact, I actually have a video on my channel that you can check out that I made on like my tech stack that I used. But you want to find your own tech stack and tools that you can use to operate this business. So like, where's the website hosted? Where will you build a digital product? Like how are you going to do the marketing, the email marketing, right? So you want to find your one-person tech stack and then basically use those for each influencer that you work with. And so what this will do will make it very easy for you to scale because you're going to know how these tools operate. And in some cases, you can use the same account for multiple influencers, which will allow you to scale and essentially make it a lot easier. So that's what I'd recommend. Find your tech stack. It might be like 3 to 5, maybe a bit more softwares that you'll be using. And those are your core ones that you'll just basically stick with, right? And so after you've done that, the next is to actually reach out to influencers because now you know your niche. Now you know how to create an offer, the skill set, the tech stack that you use. The final step is to actually reach out to them. So using all the knowledge that you've got, go out, message influencers, secure partnership. And once you've got a partnership, you'll be able to actually build an offer for them and launch it. Now, that is essentially how I would start a one-person shadow operating business in 30 days. If you guys like this business model and you want to learn more, you want to actually do this and take it seriously, well, you can click that first link in the description to apply to work with me one-on-one. I'd be more than happy to have a call with you and figure out, if I can actually help you. And if I can, you'll come on board as a client and I'll walk you through step by step how to build this business and go from zero to making your first online income like I've done and helped many clients. So that's it for this video. Please like, subscribe, and see you on the next one.